Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this live event. Today, our Director of Solution Architecture, Snehanshu, will go through the top 5 new features for Business Central that have been released for this Wave 1 of 2022. Every time Microsoft releases a new wave of enhancements and features, they always focus on improving efficiency and collaboration within organizations. Snehanshu will go through each of these 5 features to show how they can help your organization even further. If you have any questions throughout the event, please don't hesitate to use the question and answer section, and we'll come to your questions at the end. And if you just put any questions in there, we'll make sure we come to those in around 20 minutes time or so, 20-25 minutes. Okay, now I'll hand over to Snehanshu for his insights. Thanks very much, Snehanshu.
Thank you, Scott, and hello and welcome to another session on specific new features of Business Central released in this month. Just to give you a little background, Microsoft releases 2 major updates for Business Central every year. One is in April, which is called Wave 1, and another one is in October, which is called Wave 2. We are in April 2022, and Microsoft has just released this year's Wave 1 in the first week of this month. We hope with this session, you will have a better idea about this release and how the new features, how they could possibly improve your end users' productivity in Business Central. We will also briefly touch upon the subject of how Navision can be upgraded to Business Central in this context. We'll speak about like core concerns we find quite often with our NAV customers when they are planning for their upgrade, like say, what will happen to their licenses, or will they be able to migrate their existing customizations to the new system, or how costly will be the upgrade. So for those who are planning for NAV upgrade, will understand the upgrade process much better after this session. Let's move on. As Scott mentioned, the focus of Microsoft when they are updating Business Central with new features and enhancement of existing features is to improve efficiency and collaboration of organizations. So today we are going to talk through the top 5 new features. We have taken the time to pick these 5 features because we believe these features will interest you most. And they are of great benefit in end users' productivity while using Business Central. It was so hard for us to pick just 5 new features, so we have included another one to make it 6. Okay, let's move on to our first one. That's really helpful to the end users and really useful. It released in the previous major update of Business Central, that's October 2021, that is 2021 Wave 2, but it is enhanced majorly in this month's release. So if you are new to using Business Central or started exploring Business Central features recently, just to let you know, Business Central offers an app that connects Microsoft Teams to your business data. So you can quickly share details across team members, look up contacts, and respond faster to inquiries. And literally, Microsoft Teams is like a de facto communication tools across most of the organizations. So this app is available on the Teams marketplace, and you can use it with the Teams desktop, mobile app, or the web. So with this new enhancement in the team integration with the Business Central, no matter where you are in Teams, you can actually look up details about customers, vendors, and other Business Central contacts. This feature not only lets you view general information about the contacts, but also gives you access to the interaction history, related documents, and more. You can also share contact details in a conversation while in the team. That's the interesting part. From there, participant will have access to even more details about the contacts as well. Not only contacts, even you can share records in the conversation. There are two ways to do it. You can just simply copy a link to any Business Central record that's in the page, what the link you see when you open up a Business Central page, and paste it into a Teams conversation to share it with your coworkers. What the app will do, the app will then expand the link into a compact interactive card that displays the information about the record. You can do the same by sharing the link of a record directly from most collection and details pages in Business Central. Nowadays, you will see if your Business Central is upgraded to Web to 2021 or later version, you will see there is a share button most of the pages, top right corner, share button. And that share button will have a share to Teams action. So you can share the link of a record directly from most of the pages using this share to Teams action. Subsequently, it will pop up a window. There you can type a message, choose a recipient such as team members, groups, or channels, and send the message with the page link. So there are quite a few interesting enhancements in the Teams and Business Central integration. Moving on to our next interesting and very useful feature, and probably much awaited feature, is the native integration of Shopify and Business Central. So Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central has teamed up with Shopify to help our customer create a better online shopping experience. So as you know, Shopify provides merchants with an easy-to-use e-commerce solution, and Dynamics 365 BC offers comprehensive business management across finance, sales, service, and operations teams in a single application. So now we have a seamless connection between these two systems, which will synchronize order, stock, and customer information to ensure that merchants can fulfill order faster and better serve their customers. The joint effort furthers the commitment of Business Central to connect data to help businesses adapt faster, work smarter, and perform better. What are the things included in these integrations? So this supports multiple Shopify shops connected to the same Business Central. It supports bidirectional synchronizations of items or products. When I say bidirectional sync of products, it includes sync of images, item variants, barcodes, vendor item numbers, extended text, tags. Even you can export item attributes to Shopify or use selected customer price groups and discounts to define prices exported to Shopify. You can also decide whether items can be created automatically or only allow updates to existing product. So there are various permutation and combinations are pretty configured. This native integration is now pretty configurable. What else it supports? It also supports your synchronizations of inventory levels. So from the Shopify, you can simply seamlessly view the inventory positions from a Business Central. It also supports bidirectional synchronizations of the customers. It has the features like smart map customers by phone and email, or use country-specific templates when creating customers, which helps ensure that the tax settings are correct. And obviously, you can import the orders from the Shopify. Once the orders are fulfilled and from the backend and executed from Business Central, you can send the fulfillment informations to the Shopify as well. And not only that, this fulfillment information also includes item tracking information. So I believe that is the much awaited feature of Business Central. This will bring it situations where our e-commerce customers now can take the benefits of the back office system of a Business Central as well. So a lot many customers can come under the domain of Business Central. The next one also will excite you definitely. As you know, Business Central already have a capability to design reports in Microsoft Word. And as most of us are conversant with the Microsoft desktop solutions like Microsoft Office, it will be interesting to know that now Business Central also offers designing of the report in Microsoft Excel as well. Excel layouts work the same way as Word and RDLC layouts, in that they can be edited and saved back again into Business Central. Now with Excel layouts for Business Central reports, users can now create and edit report layouts simply by using the full palette of capabilities in Excel, such as sliders, diagrams, charts, and pivot tables. So the moment the data from the Business Central, the data set from the Business Central is in your Excel, the design of the layout or the look and feel of your report is completely in your hand. So, and as you know, most of us are conversant and using Excel in our daily life. That makes a lot of sense. We can create an Excel layout of an existing Business Central report very easily and can give our own look and feel and will not be dependent on a developer to design our report. Process is simple, and it's very similar to the way you use Microsoft Word report layout. So to create an Excel layout from scratch, open the report request page, any report request page, and then run the report with the open Excel options, with the options Excel document data only. So what will happen? The report will generate an Excel file with the sample data, sample data and the fields that are available in the report definition. And then you can add your layout to additional tabs in the Excel file. To test the layout, simply import it as a custom layout in Business Central. And after the system has validated what the layout is valid for use, you can now go to the request page and run the report with your new layout. Probably it will take an hour or so if you look into the documentation, and probably it will just take an hour or so to understand and learn this new Excel report layout. Moving on, it also improves the Outlook add-in we already have. And the Outlook add-in now offers the options to copy email attachments, the record displayed in the add-in. For example, the add-in will automatically display the contact record that matches the current email sender, from which you can navigate to that customer's latest sales order. And once you have identified the order that the email relates to, the attachment feature can be used to copy files from the current email to that order. So, like afterwards, you can actually review and choose some or all the email attachments to add to the record. And after attaching a file, co-workers can instantly download and view the file from the attachments fact box in any of their Business Central clients. Or they can open the file in OneDrive to share and collaborate with their department. So that's interesting. So all the related informations of a Business Central document even the mail can be all available together in one single place. So, and this feature is available for any records that use the attachments fact box. So any records like say vendor, customer, purchase order, purchase invoice, sales order, sales invoice, and so on. Wherever you have the options of attachment fact box, you can use this feature to attach the emails. You can open from the Outlook and attach the emails to those records. That's an interesting one. What else? Now, most pages displayed in the Outlook add-in include an action to open the page in a new window that can be resized and docked alongside the Outlook. So till now, if you those who are using Outlook to connect with the Business Central, they know that this add-in opens up in the right-hand side of our Outlook in a partial window, not a full window. And sometimes it is really difficult to view the entire screen or entire information from that small window in the Outlook. But now you can just expand it and make it bigger, and it can be a full screen, just to give you the, this window now displays the Business Central signature user experience, very similar to the web client, and includes full capabilities that desktop user can enjoy. So today you can like access to report, wizard pages, and the fact box pane from within the Outlook. Modern list experiences with filter pane. Everything is available now in the Outlook. You have the access to filtered views, on-demand data loading, and it has a faster scrolling and resize columns. All those are possible now from the screens displayed from within Microsoft Outlook. Definitely, it will also improve the efficiency in data entry. There are keyboard shortcuts are available. You have the options of pick on related records and the cloud printing from within the Outlook. You can have the options of collaborating and sharing features such as share to Teams, copy link, open in Excel, opening or sharing files through OneDrive. All those new features included in the Business Central, they are also available from within Outlook now. And if you are not expanding to a full screen, it actually also adapts to the available space, whether you dock the window alongside the Outlook or resize to the full screen. So this will make it more, useful and more. It will make the Business Central add-in in Outlook more usable. This is a new one. Consolidate customer and vendor balances. And quite often we hear complaint from our customers that this should be included in Business Central. And now Microsoft heard the voices, and just to give you an idea that Microsoft has a portal. It's called BC Ideas, where you can put your ideas and improvement you want in the Business Central. And Microsoft regularly review those ideas, and they try to include those ideas inside the Business Central. Quite obviously, this was one of the top ideas, and it is included in Business Central now. So what happens? A company that you do business with might be both a customer and vendor. That this happens. And when that's the case, you can, like what happens, their balances and everything are separately maintained. So at the end of the day, you don't know how much you should pay to the vendor or how much outstanding payment is there from your customers, because they are not very linked. So in this case, now with this feature, now you can avoid making unnecessary payments or receipts and save on the transaction fees by consolidating the customer and vendor balances. How we do it? A common contact is the key for the link, the relationship between the vendor and customer. As you know, you can turn a contact company into a customer or vendor by using the create as customer or create as vendor actions on the contact card page. This link is the prerequisite for seeing the balance at vendor field on the customer page and the balance as customer field on the vendor page. Moving on to the next one. So how that's now the contact become the link between the vendor and customer, but how to consolidate? Somewhere we need to consolidate the balances and come out with the net positions actually. So the customer card page offers the balances vendor field, and the vendor card page includes the balances customer field for companies that were created and linked with the same contact company. On the payment journal page, now you can use the net customer or vendor balances action, net the customer and vendor balances for the company. So that's the new actions now present in the payment journal, which will help you netting off the vendor and customer balances. So the net customer and the vendor balances actions creates payment journal lines to which the net balances for a customer and vendor are linked. So that not only this displays the balance as vendor in the customer card and balance as customer in the vendor card, it also improves your working in the payment journal to net off these balances and create the related entries. That's the consolidate customer and vendor balances. That's the sixth one. So that was 5 most interesting feature, which is really can be useful to your end users productivity. And this is the 6th one, where now you can also include the different default dimensions on locations. You know, dimensions are values that categorize entries, so you can track and analyze them on documents such as sales order. For example, dimensions can indicate the department or project an entry came from. That we know. This is the core working of the feature dimensions. Now, to help people avoid making a mistake and having to enter dimensions manually on the transaction level, if all goods are coming out of a single location and department, you can now set default dimensions for a location on the location card page. You can do it by simply choosing the location and then dimensions. Just the way, this is just the way you define the default dimensions for similar entities like customer, vendor, items, and so on. The location's default dimensions are copied to the journals and the documents when you specify the location on a line. But you can obviously delete or change the dimensions on the line if needed. And it has, you can define the rules of making certain dimensions mandatory before the transactions can be posted. So those rules are also available for the default dimensions of locations. So lot many transactions now it will be easier for the end users to manage the dimensions, and they don't need to like manually enter the dimensions which are related to the location. So that was our most, useful, we felt useful feature of Business Central released in this month, 2022 Wave 1. And with this, all this and lot many things are, besides all this specific, these 6 features, there are many more features also got released in this Wave 1. We just discussed just few of them. So if you look at the updates released in 2022 Wave 1, you can see It delivers enhancements based on the most popular request for improvements from the business users. As I said, you have a portal called BC Ideas, from where Microsoft picks up all the new features. And all of these new features are meant for, if you see, they are meant for better reporting, improvements to the supply chain area, better integrations with the desktop applications like Excel, improve the support for collaborative business processes in Teams, so you can bring Business Central pages into Teams channel, or to improve the way till now we spoke about the features which is very related to the customer, but there are features released which also improves the way partners and developer works on Business Central. Some more features, just to mention, it's almost impossible to list down the entire set of features released by Microsoft, but there are few more which can be very interesting and useful to you as well. They are like auto accept transaction for intercompany journals. Previously, those who are working in Business Central in a multi-company environment, that you have a intercompany outbox, intercompany inbox, and you need to accept those transactions to bring them to the journal. Now this can be automatic. There is a new setup where you can just define the default IC General Journal template and the default IC General Journal batch, and system takes care of the rest of the things. You can also check documents and journal. It's like a running check while you are entering information in a document or journal. There is a new document check fact box which will appear in the Business Central window and start checking the document for issues while you enter the informations in any document. The issues total tile in the fact box shows the total number of issues that Business Central found. You can see it in the right-hand side screenshots where we are entering a invoice, and in the right-hand side it shows that there is one issue in the document which is like you have not mentioned the vendor invoice number. So system will not wait for you to post the document and then give you the issues. It will actually continuously checking the document and showcasing the issues. That will definitely improve. So you will not wait for the preview posting or posting to understand those issues. You will readily know what exactly the issues in your data entry. You can now release and reopen multiple documents together from the list window. This is most useful for the, say, purchase documents or the sales documents. From the list, you don't need to open it in a card page and then release it one by one. From the list window itself, you can just select the related documents you want to release, and then you can release them all together or reopen them all together. You have integrations with OneDrive now. And that's the second screenshots you have in this screen that describes how the OneDrive integration works. So to share a report from the report inbox or to share an attachment to a record, now you can choose the share actions, and this share action copies the file from the Business Central to OneDrive for Business. This is specifically for OneDrive for Business, and then displays the files sharing dialog in the Business Central with numerous options like whether people can edit it or it will be only read only. The common options you normally have in the OneDrive while sharing any document. And this release also brings in a lot of improvements to the Power Automate and Power Apps connector. So as you know, these are the family of apps available around Business Central. and you can create a portal, you can create a mobile apps around Business Central with the help of Power Apps. And these connectors now pretty improved. So like you can start using Business Central with Power Automate and Power Apps with the greater confidence. So it supports for finding data, filtering and sorting now. It support for adding related records, data from both header and lines of the document. It also support, it also much more reliable actually. So the connector is much more reliable. And any new feature, which is like preview mode, you can simply remove the preview label. Right now, in the any Power Apps development, what happens? A preview label comes in, gets displayed. You can actually remove that preview label. So a lot many improvements in that matter as well. So that's the various improvements brought in Business Central 2022 Wave 1. Now I will give it to you. You can ask the questions in the Q&A session, Q&A window, and myself and my team are there to check and answer your queries. Even after the session, if you have more queries, we'll be very happy to answer them. You have the mail IDs and the phone numbers here. Give us a call or send us a communication to the mails, and we'll be happy to help you.
Thank you very much, Snehanshu. We have a few questions here. And the first one is about the Shopify integration. And it's asking, is the Shopify integration suitable for B2B as well as B2C, such as the ability to sync invoices, account balances, etc.?
Yes, definitely. So the documentation released by the Microsoft, it caters to the both B2B and B2C, B2C actually. It all, you know, while implementing this, we need to take care in terms of like B2C. We need decides the way we need to handle the customers, end customers. B2B is plain and simple. It's you have the customer balances, all the customer details, and everything in the various customers. In the B2C cases, just the way before even the Shopify integration was there, we used to map how we are going to treat the B2C customer, whether to treat them as individual customers or whether to treat it as a one single customer and manage with the contact informations to have the balances and identification. But it should suits both the cases, B2B and B2C.
Great. All right, thank you. And the next question says, do you have some real life examples of when default dimensions could be useful?
Yes, why not? So I'll not talk about the default dimensions of other entities like customer, vendors, and so on. Let's say, just to give an example, say customer. Let's say you analyze your revenue on the geographic location. And you have the various location office, and you analyze on the basis of whether it is sold to America, whether sold it to the Europe continent or Asia, or maybe you can bifurcate those area dimensions into much granular level like city or the state and so on. Now think about when you are booking a revenue entry, a sales invoice, take example of a sales invoice. The end user may need to enter, we can force that end user to mention where you are sending this, where it belongs to, whether it belongs to Europe, which area it belongs to, whether it's Europe or whether it is America and so on. The end user may know or you are dependent on the end users. But think about the customer you are selling to, it has an address. And it has a physical address, and you know beforehand, before even going into that transaction, that customer belongs to which region, which area of the globe. So if you can attach a dimensions preemptively to the customer card, that dimension attached to the customer card can go to the revenue entry or the sales invoice automatically when you are selecting that customer in that transaction. So the end user does not need to add those dimensions manually. That's really helps you. It actually not only avoid the end user from entering dimensions manually, and also it can actually help improve the mistakes done by the end user. This valid for even the location dimension. So if you are posting a physical inventory or a inventory adjustment or mentioning a location card in the purchase or sales document, it can pick up those default dimensions and attach in the transactions automatically, avoiding the manual mistakes.
Great, that's excellent. And then the next question, I think this was in relation to one of the later features that you spoke about. The person was asking, with the issues, can the admin set what is classed as an issue?
I got it. I believe this is talking about the related to the inline system continuously check whether the informations are correct while you are entering a document like a sales order or a purchase order or sales invoice and so on. No, at this moment, the administrator cannot do it. It is more informations predefined in the system. So if you see when you are creating an say purchase invoice, the vendor invoice number is mandatory. If a dimensions are defined as set as a rule, the dimension is mandatory. So that is automatically comes into the those list of issues.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question here says, can you move from Business Central Cloud to Business Central on-premise?
That's an interesting one. First of all, that's a unique scenario where someone moved from the BC Cloud to BC on-premise. Yes, you can. There can be complexities in terms of the licenses and all those things, but technically you can. And we did it for one of our customer, which subsequently they did not really moved on to the from the cloud to the on-premise. But they just wanted to explore the possibilities, and they did that. So the BC Cloud has a capability from the admin center where you can actually take a backup of your live environment or the production environment, which gets stored in the Azure blob storage and as a BC backpack actually. File, and then that file can be downloaded to the local machine and can be restored back to a local SQL server, and then you can use that as a Business Central on-premise. Now, I told you just simply 4 or 5 steps to do this, but the steps are not that simple, because when we download the backup of the live production environment of Business Central, it actually just downloads, backs up and downloads the business data. It does not download the object or the application which is also working behind the scene around the Business Central. That does not get downloaded. So there is some work to also bring in the applications to that particular database, but it is possible. And there is a way to, there's a clear-cut documentations available in Microsoft Portal. And that brings the question, is now the right time to upgrade? Those who are in Navision, is it right time to upgrade for them? Because, you have right now, for your informations, as I said, I will briefly touch upon the upgrade, how the upgrade happens. So you have the license incentives right now to upgrade from Navision to Business Central. And the more you delay, the more will be the gap between your Navision versions and the Business Central, and it will make it more expensive. And one of the good things about moving to the Business Central is that once upgraded, you will remain upgraded. So when we approach any upgrade, we have a history. We are the early adopters of Business Central. We have a list of upgrades done successfully under our kitty. So what is our approach? We simply don't go for like, okay, we'll give a service to like exporting your data from Navision and importing it to the Business Central. No, not really. We have an approach like where we can maintain your existing developments and customizations and bring them to Business Central if required. We don't only export your data from Nav and move to the Business Central. No, we can convert your all existing data from Nav to the Business Central. Because there will be a learning curve, though for those who are coming from Navision to the Business Central, and we fully train those users about the benefits and differences between the Navision and Business Central and what exactly is changed in Business Central and how the informations are organized in Business Central. So literally we upgrade your whole system. We are not just taking the bits and pieces of Navision and putting it in the Business Central. No, we literally upgrade the whole system. And when you are going to use the new upgraded system, you can see the way you were using your Navision with the advantage of using all the benefits and new features of Business Central. As I was talking about the license migrations, you have incentives where you can have a 40% discount or even a 60% discount. It depends. We check the customer licenses and scenarios, and we define and we come out with which kind of offer is best suited for the customer and accordingly create the proposal for that. In this context, quite often customer gets confused because Navision is predominantly a on-premise system, whereas the Business Central has the capability to remain on-premise or move to the cloud. So whether to move to the cloud or remain the on-premise, you have the benefits and in both the cases. If you remain on-premise, you will get a 3 times your existing license count just to mitigate that Business Central is now named user, no longer a concurrent users. But you will also have this problem of like you need to maintain your servers, you need to keep paying the BRIP, the annual fees you pay to the Microsoft. Whereas if you move to the Microsoft Cloud or SaaS versions, your license fees itself takes care of the infrastructure cost. The administration of the server is completely, so you don't need to be bothered about the server or the hardware. It is administered by Microsoft, and the SLA is like 99.7%. You don't need to be bothered about the infrastructure, obsolete infrastructure, because nowadays the infrastructures are getting obsolete very frequently. And the moment you move to the cloud, probably this will be the last time you will be paying for the upgrade from Nav to Business Central, because once you are in cloud, your versions will remain auto upgraded. But Microsoft IT actually helps you, giving you the right information so that you can take an informed decision about where to move. And we carefully plan for your upgrade, giving you all the return on investment calculations. Now, how we determine the upgrade cost? It depends on a couple of factors, like how much customizations you have, whether the low customizations means lower cost, the higher customizations you want to move to Business Central, maybe the higher cost, or which versions of Navision you are using at this moment. The more prior versions, upgrade to the Business Central may be costlier. It may not be, case-to-case basis, but the chances of higher cost will be there the more earlier versions of Business Navision you are using. On top of that, if you move to the cloud, you will be spending on the license because you need to buy the cloud licenses. But the good part is that you have incentives from the Microsoft to purchase the cloud licenses, and this will and at the same time you will be no longer paying the annual BREP. So we have realized in last couple of upgrades that the amount annual fees or the BREP you pays, most of the time that is pretty equivalent to the new license you will be buying for a Business Central Cloud. Those are all known factors, but it also depends on how much your partner charges, how much their service cost are there. So as from the Microsoft, from the Microsoft IT house, if you decide to work on a couple of things, we do free of cost. Like we can take a snapshot of your all objects and analyze them. We will come out with a analysis report showcasing all the customizations you have and the possible conflicts with the Business Central. And post that, we can give you a fixed cost proposal for your upgrade. And our daily rates definitely is very competitive in the market. I just don't want to go into too much of technicalities how the upgrade process happens. So I just give you just an overview. As I said, we do a free of cost object analysis for you. And once that report comes out, we gives you a fixed cost proposal. And once you decide to work with us, we convert your customizations and everything to a concept called Business Central extension. And once that conversion is there, we also convert your existing data, and then you decide whether you want to go for the remain on the on-premise or you want to go to the Business Central Cloud. And that's pretty much straightforward without going into too much of technical details. Analyze your object, create an analysis report, present it to you, decide what are the customizations you want to carry forward to the Business Central, convert them, and go to the Business Central. That's pretty much. That's conclude our session today. So we have discussed 5 features which we feel really useful for the end user's productivity. And we also discussed in this context, we discussed whether is this the right time to upgrade, and if you decide to upgrade, how to proceed on that, and what exactly is our approach towards the NAB to a Business Central upgrade.
As you mentioned before, Snehanshu, if anyone has any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can contact us through social media or through email or through telephone, or just go to the website, like Snehanshu said. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending.